Okay, I have to talk about this one because I've been watching this show longer than I'd like to admit, and Thursday's episode had me yelling at my television. An innocent woman out on bail for a stabbing she didn't do, and the woman who actually did it still strolling around Genoa City Memorial in a nurse's uniform, a loaded syringe in her pocket, standing right over the one man who could clear the whole thing up. This is The Young and the Restless, Thursday, July 9th, episode 191. And by the time it's over, that needle finds a neck, the wrong woman hits the floor, the real villain finally gets slapped in handcuffs, and the man half of us had given up on opens his eyes and remembers all of it. Let me walk you through what happened, because honestly, I'm still not over it. So here's where we were sitting before all the chaos. Patty Williams is back. Stacey Hyduke plays her. And if you've watched the show as long as I have, that name alone makes your stomach drop. Jack, our Peter Bergman, is flat on his back in a hospital bed. He got stabbed, lost a frightening amount of blood. And Patty set the whole thing up so that his wife, Diane, takes the fall for it. They already charged Diane. That's Susan Walters. She made bail, but the case is real. And the reason it's real is a psychiatrist named Dr. Lawrence Markham, played by Jerry Burns. He's up there backing Patty's story. And this is the same man who kept Diane locked inside his house for weeks. Her son Kyle was with her the entire time. He's her alibi. But the police haven't even bothered to talk to him. And Diane knows that even if they did, they'd wave it off because he's her son, and of course he'd cover for her. So when I tell you Jack is the only person alive who can save this woman, I mean it. If he wakes up, if he remembers. And keep an eye on that doctor because I promise you, he is not done making trouble. We open on Patty in scrubs, leaning over Jack with that syringe, telling him he chose Diane and now he's going to pay for it. My heart was in my throat. And then the security guard walks in. Thank goodness. He thinks she's a real nurse, asks how Mr. Abbott's doing, and Patty just tucks the needle away, says something smug about Jack cheating death, and slips right out the door. That's when Diane and Kyle come around the corner, and Diane clocks her instantly. She always does. And they're off. Now, I have to be honest with you about this chase because it's the part everybody is talking about. Kyle sends the guard after her, checks on his dad, calls Detective Burrow, that's Matt Cohen's character, practically begging him to get to the hospital, and then he takes off too. Patty runs, Diane runs, down a stairwell, all the way into the hospital basement. And look, I laughed. I did. The hallways looked like the studio offices. The extras were standing around like they'd wandered onto the wrong soundstage, and half of us online were saying it played like a Benny Hill sketch. But I loved it anyway. The show was actually moving for once, and I'll take a cheap little real hallway over a green screen any day of the week. And then it turned dark on me. Diane catches Patty down in that basement, shoves her against the wall, tells her nobody would blame her if she strangled her right there. And in the 1 second where I thought we finally had her, Patty rips out the syringe and drives it into Diane's neck, the exact dose she'd loaded up for Jack. I gasped out loud. Kyle grabs the needle, catches his mother as she crumples, and hauls her off down the hall screaming for help, while Burrow and another officer finally get Patty in cuffs. And upstairs, all this time, Tracy, Beth Maitland, bless her, is sitting with Jack, begging him to come back to us. And he does. His eyes open. He remembers what Patty did to him. And when Tracy tells him Patty got Diane arrested for it, he finally says it out loud. Patty was the one who stabbed him. I teared up a little, I won't lie. After weeks of this, our witness is finally awake. Here's the part that had me hollering, though. You'd think, real attacker in cuffs, victim awake, we're done, right? Nope. The case against Diane is still standing, and the things they're choosing to ignore to keep it standing are making me lose my mind. Our DA is Christine, Cricket for those of us who've been around a while, Laura Lee Bell's character, and her whole case against Diane comes down to two things: the physical evidence Patty carefully planted, and Dr. Markham getting up there and swearing to Patty's version of events. Michael Baldwin, Christian LeBlanc, and I adore him, is fighting for Diane with everything he has. He tells Christine to her face that Patty is the obvious one, that she's tried to kill Jack before, and that Markham literally held Diane hostage and is every bit as twisted as Patty. And Christine's answer? Careful, Michael. Markham has a sterling reputation. Push too hard, and you'll be the one in trouble. I wanted to reach through the screen. This man's story doesn't hold together for 2 seconds, and the DA's first instinct is to protect him, and that's what's really gnawing at me. Because who even is Dr. Lawrence Markham? Nobody's checked. Nobody's confirmed he's who he claims to be, and plenty of us have the same suspicion, because on this show, people steal faces all the time. I've got money on Markham being a mask. Some of us are wondering if it's Martin Laurent under there, the twin who once stole his own brother's identity to come after the Abbotts, back with a new face to finish the job. Whether I turn out to be right or not, they've stacked a mystery on top of a mystery here, and that frame-up is the engine driving this entire storyline. Now here's the question I kept yelling at my TV. How did Patty even get out in the first place? And the show actually answers me through Billy, Jason Thompson. He comes right out and blames Victor Newman for getting Patty released. And Billy says Victor's name out loud, so I'm going with it. Given the history between Victor and Jack, I believe every word. And this is the thing that's worn me down after all these years of watching. Victor always wins. Victor pulls the strings and somehow keeps his hands clean, while the people I actually root for keep eating the losses. You can see it over on the business side too. Lily, Crystal Khalil, has Chancellor now, and she's building it back up with Kane, Billy Flynn's character. This same episode, Kane pitches her a whole waterfront development he wants to call Chancellor Way, on a property he was chasing until Victor wiped him out financially. Then he turns around and offers Holden a job, that's Nathan Owens, while Claire's standing there with a bad feeling about the whole Newman versus Kane mess. And that's the part that gets under my skin. It's a town where the people with money buy their way out of everything, and the innocent ones get dragged into an interrogation room. And then there's Billy and Jill, which, okay, I know this one splits everybody down the middle, including me some days. On the surface, it's a grown man going at his mother. Billy corners Jill about the real reason he got pushed out of Chancellor, because he's sure there's more to it than she's letting on. And here's what got me. He's right. The show pretty much confirms Jill is sitting on a secret about that whole ouster, something she absolutely does not want him to find out. Half of you are rolling your eyes going, Billy's a middle-aged man still whining for his mommy's approval. And I hear you, I do. But a lot of us are quietly cheering, because I have watched this mother chip away at this man for decades, and she still won't own a single piece of it. So when Billy finally stopped performing and just said the thing out loud, part of me went, oh, thank God, finally. And the honest truth is, both of those feelings live in the same man, and that's the ache of the whole thing. Billy grew up with a mother who mostly wasn't there for him, and he's been carrying that hole around his whole life. He'd give anything to feel differently about her. He just doesn't. There's a way through this, though, and I want it so badly. Billy has said he wants to repair things with Jill, and there's talk of a trip so the two of them can finally hash it out. Kane already offered him a job. Everything he'd need for a real second act is sitting right there in front of him. Somebody just has to write it, and that buried secret is the match that lights it. So here's where I've landed, sitting with all of this. I can be furious at Patty and Victor and Jill all day long, but the thing that's actually been breaking my heart about this show is the writing itself, and that part is finally about to change. Josh Griffith, who's been the head writer since 2019, announced back in late June that he's stepping down, his own decision. They haven't named who's taking over yet, and the word is CBS wants somebody in that chair by the fall. And knowing that honestly changes how I watch this whole episode. Because the thing so many of us have been groaning about for years is exactly what we just sat through. Another kidnapping, another hostage, another unstable person waltzing past security in a set of scrubs. We have seen this 100 times, which is why, as ridiculous as Thursday got, I think it really does matter. We're standing at a turning point. Jack's awake and he remembers, so the truth finally has a voice. Patty's locked up. Markham's fake life is one phone call away from falling apart. Jill's secret is still sitting there, waiting. Victor's fingerprints are all over Patty's release, and nobody's proven it yet. That's a whole row of doors left wide open for whoever gets to write Genoa City next. And that's the thing I can't stop turning over in my head. I already know who stabbed Jack. What I don't know, the part that's genuinely keeping me hooked, is whether this show is finally going to let the truth win before the new writers walk in the door. So talk to me. 2 things I need to know from you. What is Jill hiding about Billy getting pushed out of Chancellor? And is Dr. Markham actually Dr. Markham? Or is there somebody else's face under there? Drop your theory in the comments. And if you clocked the Markham thing early, go ahead and brag. You earned it. And subscribe, because the minute Jack sits up and tells the police what really happened, I am going to be right back here, going through every second of it with you.